What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about the entourage effect and why THC may not be as important as you guys think it is. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get right on into it. The entourage effect, if you have never heard of it, is the combined effect of all the cannabinoids and terpenes found in the marijuana plant and everything else. There's a lot of things that we don't even know about. There is up to like 550 compounds in the marijuana plant. We know of roughly about like 70 to 80 of them so far. There's things like flavonoids that I don't personally know anything about. There's a lot that plays into that high that we don't typically understand, and just looking at THC, we're missing out on a lot of that bigger picture. I work at a dispensary. A lot of people will come in looking for the highest THC option, thinking that is going to get them the most high, when in a lot of cases, that is not really how it works. I have smoked flower that is 30% THC. I've smoked flower that's 15% THC that's gotten me higher than the 30%. It varies from a lot of different things, like I just mentioned, flavonoids, terpenes, other cannabinoids. There's a lot that plays into it. If I smoke a low testing OG Kush versus a high testing Skittles, the perceived high from the OG Kush will probably still be stronger. Those terpenes in OG Kush have more of a couch locking effect for me. Just hits me a little bit harder, and I feel like that's on par for most people out there who have enjoyed OG Kush or are familiar with the effects from it. Skittles is a really nice high. I really enjoy it, but it is a much more like daytime, I'm like getting things done type of high. A great example of the entourage effect is things like rosin carts versus distillate carts. If you go into a dispensary, the cheapest cartridges are going to be distillate. Distillate is the cheapest concentrate out there, but if you look at it, it always has really high testing THC percentages, because with distillate, that's essentially all you're getting. In the distillation process, they strip the concentrate of everything except THC. You do lose all those cannabinoids, all those terpenes, and a lot of times they will reintroduce terpenes back into those vapes. Oftentimes those will be botanically derived terpenes from other plants, and that's what gives it that artificial flavoring, which I personally don't enjoy, and also doesn't give me that same effect that I'm looking for, whereas a live resin or a rosin option is going to give you that entourage effect. You get the plant in its fullest form, and with live resin and rosin you don't have that distillation process which removes those terpenes. But with live resin you can have some what they call CRC, color remediation column, where they do strip the plant in an attempt to remove some impurities, but also removing some of those terpenes. So it can lower the experience. If you are looking for the fullest experience in vape form, a rosin pen is going to be the most full spectrum. And what I mean by full spectrum is it's going to have the most of that entourage effect. And you can see that reflected in the pricing of these items. Rosin is a lot more expensive to produce, so it's a lot more expensive when it hits the shelves, but there's a reason why people pay for it. I would buy a 68% rosin pen over a 90% distillate pen all day. Talking about THC, of course. I feel like the rosin pen is going to be a better high. It's going to be a much more comfortable high. When I get just THC, I get a little bit weird. When I eat distillate gummies, I get a headache a lot of the times, and the high, it never even really comes. I just get a little anxious. This is a really weird feeling. I had a video within like the last year or so titled, "Do I think rosin gummies are worth it?" And in the video I actually said I didn't think so, but now that time has gone on, I definitely do think so. And that entourage effect is more important to me than ever. You will build a tolerance very quickly if you are smoking or are ingesting THC every day. And every single thing that we smoke, as long as it's weed, obviously has THC in it. So that tolerance will continue to grow. But when you introduce new terpenes and new cannabinoids, you are sending different things into your system. Your body's going to react differently. It's like doing a workout every day. If you're doing just normal curls every day, your bicep is probably going to plateau. But if you throw in some like hammerhead curls, if you throw in some like different types of angles when you're doing your curls, you are going to get different results. And that's kind of how terpenes and other cannabinoids affect your tolerance. If you are doing the same thing over and over and over again, your body will get used to it, and that is what the entourage effect is able to do for us, is help us switch up that process. If you're someone who doesn't smoke, you might not even notice the entourage effect. You're probably just gonna be like, oh my god, I am so high, this THC is overwhelming. But for someone who is a daily smoker, it is very important to pay attention to that entourage effect, because at the end of the day, that's what is really giving us that high, because we most likely have a pretty good tolerance to THC, and most likely the THC really isn't affecting us that heavily. And once you start to notice the entourage effect of different strains and everything, you will notice different experiences. For example, plants that contain a lot of pinene or just have a really piney smell are going to give you more of an alert, like more of a sativa type of feeling, whereas certain things that have like myrcene might have like a peppery smell to them. That's going to be more of like a couch lock, more of an indica type of feel. So there are differences when it comes to these types of terpenes. The main takeaway from this video is there's a lot more to focus on than just THC when it comes to shopping for weed, and that entourage effect is going to be what you are searching for and what I'm searching for every time. I am always searching for the right blend, like what strain is my perfect thing. And I feel like Permanent Marker, Rainbow Sherbet, I love the entourage effect from those strains. Just something about those cannabinoids, that terpene family, whatever, all those have similar terps. You can just tell by the taste and smell. And something about that family just works really well with my system. So once you kind of establish, oh, I am looking for this entourage effect, you can therefore look for like families of strains and figure out what strains work the best for you. There's a lot of nuance when you're shopping for weed, and a lot of people just shop on THC percentage when there's a lot more that goes into it. And I think at this point in the video, hopefully you guys understand that. But if there is anything that I didn't make clear, or if you have any questions, please let me know down below and I'll be happy to answer that to the best of my ability. I will leave a video linked as well. I'm going to throw in a clip of Dr. Riley Kirk, also known as Cannabicam, talking on the First Smoke of the Day podcast about the terpenes and that relationship with the entourage effect. Found it very interesting. So huge shout out to her.
Specifically looking at like indica versus sativa versus hybrid products that are on the market. Because we would think that if all indicas made you sleepy and all sativas made you feel really awake, there had to be some sort of chemistry to explain that. Not really the case for indicas. We don't see a ton of correlation there, at least for what's on the legal market. Let's be clear about that. But with sativas, terpenylene, there was a strong correlation that terpenylene equals sativa, or at least part of the story. There's also other terpenes involved in that, like beta-farnesene, which is another terpene that's almost always found with terpenylene. So they're likely kind of this combination of terpenes that's great for uplifting effects.
So the entourage effect is true.
It's so true. And the entourage effect goes so much deeper than we think about the entourage effect.
Definitely follow her on Instagram and YouTube. I'll have that information linked down below. But she is super knowledgeable and definitely shares a lot of great information. All right, hopefully you guys stop shopping on THC percentage after seeing this. And anyways, THC percentages, if you look at the back of the bag or whatever, it says it can vary by 10%. So if you're buying something that's 30%, it could be 40%, but it could also be 20%. So it really doesn't matter. Stop paying attention to it. They're also testing different parts of the plant. There's a lot of weird stuff that goes into testing. It really is irrelevant, I promise you. I don't ever think about it. I just go for what is going to be the best flower, in my opinion, in terms of quality or in terms of whatever I'm looking for, preferentially based on my terpene preference or my desired terpene profile. Once you start paying attention to that stuff, it really does change your smoking experience and really enhances it. So let me know once you guys start doing that, or if you've already started to do that, what's your favorite terpene profile? What strain families do you guys enjoy smoking on? All right, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Have a good one.